Hey, you want a free PSC bow? I'm gonna make it simple for you. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you're subscribed and you're liking and you're commenting on our videos, you're entered in the giveaway. We're gonna give a free PSC bow away again. You heard it here first, a free PSC bow. Oh, welcome back to another hinge cutting video, guys. You know how I feel about this at this point, and if you don't, well, you're about to figure it out. There's a time and a place. Time and a place in which you should be hinge cutting on your property. And if you don't know when that is, bring somebody out, like myself or another expert or somebody to point you in the right direction so you don't waste timber. For the most part, I like to use logging, okay? But there's a time and a place in which you should be hinge cutting on your property as a whole, you know, some general ideas. And we've talked about that in other videos, but I'm here to tell you how I'm gonna do it on my property, okay? So my whole goal with hinge cutting is not to create bedding. I think there's better ways to do it. I think there's more longevity in other strategies and techniques so that you have better bedding areas for longer and things like that. Hinge cutting can get messy quick. You can waste a lot of money and it can just flat out be messy. It takes a lot of maintenance. So when using it, you need to use it, you know, make sure you're using it in the right scenario. How am I going to use it? So on one of my properties that we will be implementing hinge cutting likely this off season, basically from west to east, the property runs bedding off to the west, deer transition, moving east, coming out into the food plot, okay? And basically my food plot has certain entrances right now in which the deer are using, but I want to block that off and create what I'm gonna call a tornado zone for probably 100 to 150 yards down the perimeter of that western edge, predominantly westerly winds blowing out in my favor, but down that western edge of my food plot, the eastern edge of the timber where they meet. And I'm gonna run that north and south for 150, 200 yards, however far I have to run it to push these deer through another pinch point. And I don't wanna restrict them too much with this pinch point and make it tiny, but I want them to come out in a certain area so that based off of where my blind and stand locations are, predominant winds are in my favor. So that is one of the times in which you should definitely be using hinge cutting, is to deter deer to move them into certain locations. I want to basically create this tornado zone. It kind of hurts me to do it because it's beautiful timber in these areas and there's a lot of money that maybe could be brought in through logging, but to hunt this property more strategically, you have to put these tornado zones in sometimes so that you can create that pinch point. That's what I'm going to be doing on my property. That's how I'm going to be doing it on that given property. Like I said, bedding way off to the west, deer are going to transition to the east out into the food, and where that transition line ends and the food source begins is where I'm going to create that wall, enforce them through certain areas so that they have to walk out near my tree stands. If I don't overhunt the property, they're not going to have an issue walking out in those stands or in those pinch points, excuse me, and by those stands. But if you're the guy that overhunts your property, probably don't expect those deer to come out through those pinch points during daylight hours because you overhunt it. They know what's coming when they get through that pinch point, that restricting tight little 20, 40, 60, 100 yard spot. They know what's coming. They've had arrows flung at them and all these other things at this point. And so you can't overhunt it when creating these areas, but you need to still strategically have areas like this so that when you do go and hunt, the movement does become more predictable. So that's how I'm going to be using hinge cutting on my property. There's a time and a place. Obviously, logging is preferred if at all possible. Put some money in your pocket, open up the canopy, create sunlight down at the forest floor and new regeneration. But in this case, we're not creating bedding. We're creating a screen to push deer into certain locations, and that's how I'm going to do it on my property, guys. So if you like more of these videos, you like these topics, any of that stuff, like, comment, subscribe. We're always dropping more, and if you want to learn, you're in the right place. See you guys next time.